How do you get over someone who love bombed you and was on the rebound?
Well, I look at something like that. Everything happens for a reason. So if you get love bomb, what that basically is happening is you really like a girl. You're hot for her, you got her on a pedestal, you think she's the one, and you start projecting your fantasy, and then she starts telling you, "Oh, you're so sexy, you're so handsome, you're so great in bed. It's like you make me laugh. You're so amazing. It's the best relationship I ever had, best sex I ever had." And the guy's like, "Oh, I met my soulmate," and he gets carried away on that, and because he's only paying attention to how he feels about her, he doesn't really pay attention to the fact that she often doesn't reciprocate. She says a lot of nice things, but she's not reciprocating. And then typically love bombing is something that a narcissist does. And then once they've got you, then they start to pull back a little bit, and then they start to de-elevate you, and then they start to put you down to get you to question yourself, and they gaslight you because it's all a game of manipulation. And so to me, everything happens for a reason. What happened happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way. And so what that means is you have an attachment. You have an attachment to your fantasy or the way you wanted things to be. And because your attachment was so strong, it was unhealthy, and therefore you ignored somebody's dark side or their toxic side because you believed so completely in the fantasy that you were projecting. You ignored all of the bad, shitty things. She stood you up for a date, or you lent her some money. She promised to pay you back. She never did. Or she wasn't talking to the ex, but then you find out she still was, or just whatever it happens to be. And you rationalize it away because your emotions are in the stratosphere. We make our decisions based on our emotions. And then we use logic and reason to justify what we did. And so once the honeymoon period wears off and you get, like this guy's kind of come to realize that he got gaslit and manipulated and she really didn't care. He formed an unhealthy attachment. So he wasn't able to see reality as it is. He saw it as better than it was. Not worse than it was, but better than it was. And when you believe that so completely, you're blinded, and then you get jacked around, screwed over, jerked around, whatever. And eventually, at some point, you get past the honeymoon period. You start to see the person as they are, and then you question yourself, like, how can I be so stupid? How can I be so gullible? How can I get involved with somebody like that? How can I not see that? And that's part of growth. You got a weakness, you got a chink in your armor. Life tends to come along and bring somebody like that, as painful and as mean spirited as it was. It makes you tougher, it makes you stronger, it helps you determine what to look out for. So the next time, and there will be a next time, there will be another person and probably several people that are similar to that will come along because you got a weakness. But the next time around, if you've grown and you've evolved from that, you can spot them. And then you like, as I've gotten older, is that I see reality kind of as it is. I give people the chance to do their thing, and I evaluate them based upon their actions, and I give them the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, you still got to look at what people do, not what they say. And when you're younger and you're kind of naive, you assume other people are like you, they think like you or whatever. But you get burned enough, whether it's burned in a business deal or burned in somebody you were dating or had a relationship with, or a friend burns you or steals money from you or tries to fuck your girl or your wife or whatever it happens to be, or you let your closest friend drive your brand new exotic car and he wraps it around a fucking light pole,
That's
literally
insane.
not even fucking 48 hours after you took possession of it when you bought it. It would have been something you've been thinking about for a long time. And then you don't get it back for 6 to 8 months, and then it takes you another 6 months to get it working properly. So it takes you a year before your car is actually working right.
And it never
after
like
you
drives
bought
the
it.
same too.
It's never the same after that. It's like those kinds of things happen. You go through life and you get burned. It's like your parents say, "Don't touch the fucking stove," and you're like,
Touch it.
"I do it anyways." I got burned. You get burned in relationship enough. You get burned by people you date, or by clients, or people you get involved with. eventually you get experience and you hopefully learn from it and you do a better job of vetting people in the future. So, in that case, it's you learn to kind of slow down and take your time, not to get overly excited, overly invested, just kind of even keel and kind of stoic, kind of like the way Rocky is. He's very chill. He comes up, he looks at you, and he just kind of stares at you like he took an edible or something. you know,
Especially having a drink right now.
whereas
Like,
Ocean is like a maniac. It's like she's all over the place, wants to play. She likes to roughhouse, can't sit still. If you're hanging out, you're doing something, and she feels like you're not paying enough attention to her, she starts going, whining at you, and then she'll get real close to you and rub up against you and playfully, snip at you or stick her tongue in your ear or your face or lick you, just anything to get your attention so you give her pay attention. Whereas like Rocky doesn't really care. He's just here. He could take it. He could leave it. He doesn't give a shit. Doesn't take it personal. Doesn't hold a grudge. And as life happens, your weaknesses get exposed, and women are really great at exposing a man's weaknesses, and they kind of smooth out your rough edges. Even when you get dicked over and you get down, you get screwed around and things go bad for you. You always learn from it. You learn to kind of recognize the pattern. So the next time that you come across somebody like that, you're a little more objective, you're wise, you're not enamored by beauty anymore. You love it, you appreciate it, but you don't allow it to blind you. You just kind of people are on probation for a significant period of time. Typically 90 days can people hide who they really are, and you just slow it down. You're not in such a rush. When you're young, you might be fearful, you feel like you got to make something happen right now. So you're impulsive. You don't have the benefit of experience and wisdom and lots of fuck ups that you have, when you get to be older. So that's life. That's the process. So that guy, it's just see it as a process. Spotting, if you're looking to vet somebody to date long term or have a family, you got to learn to recognize the patterns of somebody that's healthy versus unhealthy. And gaslighting or love bombing, or you go out on 2 dates or sleep with a girl and she's ready to be exclusive and she wants to move in after a week and wants to get engaged right away, and guy's thinking, wow, I met my soulmate after like 2 weeks. It's like, hey, that's not normal
pump the brakes
behavior.
a little bit there.
That's not normal. That's women take time to fall in love. A chick that's ready to move in and get married after a few weeks is like, that's not a good sign. It's typically somebody that's insecure, that might be manipulative, and they'll like you more if you make them earn it anyways.
Yeah.
If it takes 6 months, a year, or a couple of years to finally get you to settle down or get married or start a family or whatever, it's you take a more long-term approach. You're more relaxed. You're more chill. Same thing with vetting a business partner or growing a business, because nothing happens overnight. It's usually like really small incremental things that you do or that you change, and some things work better than others, and great things take time. Great thing, especially business or building great relationships or whatever, it might take you a decade or more just to get to the point where it's going really well. So give yourself permission to be a beginner. Give yourself permission that your path, your journey is your own. It's different from somebody else's. Don't compare yourself or your progress or where you're at to anybody else. If you're satisfied with where you're at and where you're going, that's the only thing that matters. You cannot live your life according to other people's expectations, because there's always going to be somebody that's not happy with you. I mean, you guys see in the comments. No matter what we do, there's some people that are going to get upset and butthurt and not like it and tell us how bad we suck. And there's going to be mostly other people that are like, you guys are amazing, or that was great, or I like that video, or I didn't know that. Thanks for teaching me that. Or that was a great example. So don't get too caught up in criticism and don't get too caught up in praise. Just be more middle of the road and even keeled. Think of yourself as like a turtle. Slow and steady like the river that never grows stale. No hurry, no rush. As Rumi said, as we see a river.
This thing's distracting.
That stuff, it It's powerful. You think you're just watching a TikTok video, and it's actually rewiring your brain and your emotions, and it's rearranging your moving towards values and you're moving away values, and you don't even do it. So your moving towards values are typically the things that feel good, that you identify with, that you'll take action because it moves you towards something that's positive that you want, something that's compelling. And you're moving away values, you move away from things that are painful or unpleasant or that you're not going to like or undesired outcomes, whatever it happens to be. And so when you watch videos like that, you get hypnotized and it changes what you move towards and what you move away from. And you don't even realize it's happened.